Hello and welcome to Tech Deals. Game performance review time, Fallout 4 on this Dell Inspiron 7000 series gaming laptop computer. I love this machine. I've previously reviewed this computer. A link to that review will be in the video description below. Short version, for $800 you get a lot of laptop. Intel i5 true 4-core processor. It's a real quad core, 4 cores, 4 threads, not 2 cores with hyper-threading, but 4 real cores. 8 gigabytes of system RAM, 256 gigabyte solid state drive, wicked fast to boot, load programs, etc. The big thing in here, however, is the NVidia GeForce GTX 960M dedicated gaming graphics card. Yes, that's a mouthful. In short, it's got a great graphics card that's about 4 to 5 times faster than integrated graphics from Intel. It also has 4 gigabytes of dedicated system video RAM, which is double what most laptops at this price point have. Now, Fallout 4. Fallout 4 is a relatively demanding game for both CPU and GPU. There's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot going on graphically. This game does not really play well on integrated graphics. It kind of sort of does, mostly, with everything set to low. I messed around with it. Actually, as a side note, now this information will become dated at some point. When Fallout 1.2 worked fine on most Intel integrated graphics, although you had to turn everything to low and it was kind of ugly, but it did work. In Fallout 4 version 1.3, a patch was released because some new downloadable content, part of the season pass was released, and it broke the game on Intel graphics chips. I spent a while last week trying to get this to work on a $500 Zeus laptop that I reviewed, and the graphics were broken and corrupted, and I found some advice on a forum that indicated like a patch you could go in and edit some files to make it work. You know what? I gave up on it, and the reason why is this. And it's not just 1 or 2 people. I mean, like, there were hundreds of posts that patch 1.3 broke it on like all Intel integrated graphics. They may fix that at some point. But if you have to go in and edit files and even then the performance kind of sucks, well, maybe it's not worth playing on that chipset. But here we have a GTX 960M. So how does this perform? I've got my fraps counter running up here in the corner. We're currently at 40 frames per second. I will change the detail a couple times so you can see what this looks like. $39, $40. It's pretty good. There is a little bit of stutter and a little bit of lag when you press things. It's not too bad. The world is definitely pretty. It certainly works very well. But there's just a little bit of stutter. The graphics details are currently set to the default setting of high. We're running at full HD or 1080p. Could you play at this setting? Yes. Would I play at this setting? No. 2 things. First of all, we're not doing anything. We're just running around the open world. We're not in combat with 3 or 4 enemies. We're not zooming in with bats. We're not in conversations. The performance will fall off when you start actually doing stuff. Beautiful world, though. I mean, well, beautiful for a post-apocalyptic Fallout world. So, I am going to quit to the desktop. Options. This time, we're going to set it to medium detail. Now, in my last Fallout 4 review, or performance review that I did it on a desktop computer, an Acer Predator desktop, a $750 machine. Great desktop, by the way. Somebody asked me, why don't I turn off VSync to see just how fast the frame counter will go? You can't really do that in Fallout 4, and the reason being is Fallout 4's physics engine, how everything works in the game, is dependent on not running faster than 60 frames per second. If you force override it in the control panel, in the NVIDIA control panel, it breaks the game, essentially. Let's see what our performance is this time. And you will notice it has not changed. We're still at about 40, 45 frames per second. Okay, you probably don't bunny hop through the world. But I find that the way the character jumps and lands and the legs move indicates the performance of the game. Does it work? Yes. Could you play it this way? Yes. We'll come in here to options. Now instead of just choosing a default, because I don't want to set low because it's actually kind of ugly on low, I'm going to turn off anti-aliasing and I'm going to go into advanced and I'm going to set texture quality to medium, lighting quality to medium. God rays I'm going to turn off. Depth of field standard low. Ambient occlusion I'm going to leave on. View distance. Actually, I'm going to turn the view distances up because those I don't believe strain the system nearly as much. Let's see how well that plays. If you have the most expensive top-of-the-line computer in the whole world, absolutely, you can just set everything to ultra and off to the races. A good example of that is the Asus Republic of Gamers series of laptops that come with a GTX 970M as opposed to a 960. You can set the detail up to high with everything turned up and it rocks and rolls. Those laptops are $1,500 plus. For whatever reason, there's a huge price discrepancy between the GTX 960 and GTX 970. Now, I will note, the GTX 970 is 80% faster than the 960. It's almost double the performance. It's got 1,500 some odd CUDA cores to the 600 in this. In multiple benchmarks, tests, etc., it's about 80% faster. But Lord, the laptops are expensive. And of course, if you want one with all the features, if you want one with a nice screen, if you want one with a nice screen, you want one with a solid state drive, you can easily spend $1,700, $1,800. That's better. Wow. All right. Now we're at 60 frames a second, and the stutter from the jumping is gone. It's all about finding a graphic setting that gets you to 60 frames a second. Fallout 4 wants to run at 60 frames per second. It does. Everything from object falling to throwing grenades to explosions. The physics engine wants to run at 60 frames per second. It doesn't want to run higher, and it doesn't want to run lower. This is much improved. And this is why I don't just do benchmarks showing bars with numbers behind them, because the number doesn't tell you anything. Here's what I want to know. When I press W, does she start running? When I move the mouse, is it instant or is there lag? Is the game controllable? That's not the kind of thing that just a benchmark number tells you, which is also why I don't just record this and then voice over. I could absolutely just record gameplay, sit down at the computer with a microphone and voice record over it, but the actual response of touching it and feeling it and narrating it as I do it, I think has value. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't agree. That's what the comment section is for. Tell me. Now, will this play in high detail smoothly at 60 frames a second on this laptop? No. Will it play at medium detail with all the standard defaults at 60 frames per second on this laptop? No. This is a very demanding game, and it only gets more demanding as you get further into the world. If you click low settings, it gets ugly really fast. But there are settings in between low and medium where it is absolutely playable and yet doesn't look ugly like as it does in low detail. Compared to the less expensive machines that have integrated graphics, which at this point with patch version 1.3 won't play Fallout 4 at all without a bunch of file editing on your hard drive, and that might get broken by a patch, and frankly, you know, they may or may not ever fix it because I don't actually believe Fallout 4 officially supports integrated graphics. At least that's what I've read. But what do you think? Was this helpful to you? Like the video. Was it not? Well, you know what to do. Remember to subscribe to my channel. The big red button down there. If it's already been subscribed to, thank you so much. I appreciate it. But that'll get you updates on future videos, updates, reviews, unboxings, and overviews, and all that fun stuff. As I said before, questions and comments go below the video. And I will see you next time.